of Michael Casavana. Michael is the longest serving faculty rep. He got here 1 year before I did. So that's why I have my green tie on today. So Mike's a Michigan State guy, and now with Michael's retirement, there are no faculty, no presidents, no athletic directors who were here when I arrived. So we toasted him last night and wore the tie today. And so seriously, Mike's a good guy and served great, had great service to the Big Ten, and this was his final faculty representative meeting. We had really good meetings focused primarily on sort of reports of what we've been doing out east and the two region conference that we've been trying to build, and there's a lot of support for that. Obviously, we'll have other announcements probably within a couple weeks on other assignment of football and basketball championship sites, probably after the presidents meet in early June. But I think there was an appreciation for the work that we've done and the work we've done with our coaches to initiate some of these collaborations, competitions, and everybody's excited about that. Another area that we spent a lot of time on discussing was just the restructuring and the reform agenda, and I think that there's almost perfect alignment among between our presidents, our athletic directors, and our faculty on what we would like to see happen and sort of the time frame. There are a lot of balls in the air, but we would really like to see full autonomy granted on all the student athlete welfare areas that we've asked for. We'd like to see a process that can deliver reform within probably 6 to 12 months of the time restructuring occurs. We know that's a big substantive task, but we're excited about the opportunity to do it. So there's restructuring that we have some control over to bring about some change and to make some things that are balanced that are imbalanced. There's also the litigation. We've got a number of cases that are out there that we will aggressively defend, and so you have to be able to do reform at the same time that you defend the cases, and we'll defend the ones that address the collegiate model or challenge the collegiate model. We'll do it at the trial level, we'll do it at the appellate level, and we'll do it all the way to the Supreme Court. So I think everybody got an update basically where those cases are. And then it's also obvious that Congress has concerns. They had some hearings last week. They canceled some hearings coming forward. And I don't think it's really a Democratic or Republican issue. I think it's really an issue that people want college athletics to succeed, and they want the imbalances to be brought into balance, and that college athletic experience to be as good as you can make it. And so to that end, we had a lot of discussion about an agenda, a cost of education, abatement on time demands, lifetime trust for athletes, comprehensive insurance on the health and safety side, so if an injury occurs, it's properly addressed over time, multi-year grants. And so there's a lot of discussion on, okay, get the restructuring, get a bar or a process which will allow you to deliver a 21st century response to 21st century problems, with the full knowledge that there's litigation that's going to have to be addressed, and that Congress has interests in these issues because there are 400,000 young people that are participating. There's a tremendous public interest in what we do, and some of what we do can be improved upon. And I don't really think, when I hear it, I think people are just saying to us, get it right, get it balanced, bring it into conformity with what you say college athletics ought to be. I think that the American public, from the polls that I read, say we like college athletics. We want college athletics to be college athletics. That's not to say there aren't differences of opinion, but when I read the polls, whether it's the Meet the Press poll or the ABC Stephanopoulos poll, 70% of the people don't want to see unions on college campuses for college athletes. 70% of the people don't want to see paid for play. 70% of the people don't want to see these things operated as minor league franchises. They believe that there's a redeeming quality. The challenges in intercollegiate athletics have been with us from the inception, and sometimes we're in better places than we are other times. And I really view this as sort of an opportunity to right size and bring into balance and bring into focus the collegiate model, and there are three parts. One is, get the restructuring, get the reform. Two is to defend the legal cases all the way through the system. And four is to be advocates in the public in the public domain, speaking to Americans who want us to do things the right way for young people, for a lot of young people, just not for one sport or for two sports, but for many sports. And so, as I look at it, I look at the items that we've ticked off. The devil is in the detail, obviously, how these things operate, how they're operationalized, how lifetime trust works, how cost of education works, how time demands can be abated, what is the appropriate level of health and safety insurance related issues. And that will have to be worked out, and it's not a 3-year process. It's a getting to restructuring, getting to a process, and then quickly getting to an agenda, and whether it's in January of 15 or between January and 15 and June of 15, we're going to have a scorecard, and the question is going to be, what did you accomplish? You asked for restructuring. What did you accomplish as a result of the restructuring you're able to achieve? So those are some things. We also had some discussion on the 9 games. There a lot has been written about 9 games in the Pac-12 and 8 games in the SEC and 8 games in the ACC and 9 games over here. And we didn't go to 9 games for one reason. We went to 9 games for 4 or 5 different reasons. Number one, we think that we're a larger conference. We want to play each other more. That's probably the number one reason. If there had been no college football playoff, I think we wanted to play each other more. That's what this conference does, and that's what this conference wanted to do. 2, I think our players and our fans want to play ourselves more. I think that fans like Big Ten games. I think if you look at Big Ten attendance around Big Ten games, it tends to be better than the average non-conference game. I also think that the commissioners have been clear about strength of schedule and winning championships in conferences as the tiebreakers in the college football playoff. So that's an additional reason for us to do that. Now, having said that, the committee's charged with identifying the 4 best teams. And there are conference games, there are non-conference games. I could conceive of somebody playing 8 conference games and 4 very strong non-conference games, and having a stronger strength of schedule than somebody who plays 9 conference games and 3-week non-conference games. So we've tried to address it with more conference games for the reasons I've said. We've also tried to address it with respect to having one major game against a major opponent from a group of 5 kind of conference. And we've tried to address it in a way that we're not playing teams that have 63 or 62 scholarships. So it's a different level of competition. It's not to say you can't lose those games, because you can. Whether it's Furman or App State, Northern Iowa, they have good football teams, but they're not constructed the same way our teams are constructed. So we've tried to have a policy that we play others with a similar number of scholarships. So there continues to be, very strong support for that. So I would say, the three areas were the reform and the restructuring, the Eastern initiatives, and then the scheduling situations that I've described for you. There's a lot of other corporate business that gets conducted in these meetings. Lots of reports from lots of subcommittees and dealing with lots of athletes. We've got 9,500 athletes with the addition of Rutgers and Maryland, 350 sports teams, 43 different sports, and 28 championships. So all of those elements, whether it's the officiating, the sports-like conduct, are being addressed in these meetings by various subgroups. But I had a good chance to spend time with the faculty on these restructuring and reform issues, as well as the athletic directors and senior women, and there's very good alignment, and we're looking forward to bringing closure to the restructuring, and getting on with the reform business. So let me stop there and see if you have any comments or questions.
Do you want to plan FCO?